This is my 100th video in a row of posting every single day on YouTube. We finally made it. I have reached my goal of recording every single day for 100 videos in a row. I'm so happy and excited and proud of myself for being able to accomplish this. And before I get into what I want to talk about in this video, I first want to give a shout out to everyone who has been here with me from the beginning. You've been rocking out with me. You saw enough in me to, want to go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much. I definitely appreciate you being here and trusting me and joining me along on my journey. And last but not least, I want to give a special shout out to Glow Atanmo. Her channel is super dope, y'all. I suggest you check it out, especially if you're interested in content creation or traveling abroad. But Glow, thank you so much. It is because of Glow, y'all, that I even started my channel. I had been sitting on wanting to do this for a few years and just never finding the right time, never feeling ready. And it's because of Glow, kind of sparking that fire, lighting that fire underneath my ass a little bit to just, motivated me to just started. I definitely started not feeling ready at all. I definitely started imperfectly without having it all figured out, and I just went in, I just dove in and ended up committing to her challenge of posting 100 videos in a row, and without really being sure of if I'd be able to do it. But I accepted the challenge, and here I am coming out on the end of it. So thank you so much, Glow, and I can wish you continued success, and I hope your videos and your message continues to reach millions more people around the world. Thank you. All right. So now that I've gotten all of the flowers, the flower giving out of the way, what I wanted to talk about in this video is why I started this channel. And I think back to the very first video that I posted. It was a welcome video where I discussed, that I was burned out, and I'm ready to do things differently from the traditional blueprint of success that we've been told to follow our whole lives, because it wasn't working for me. Yes, I was successful on paper. I am successful on paper, but I felt a disconnect. I felt a bit empty and unfulfilled. And in that video, I started with the premise that I wanted to find out what it takes in order to build a life that I truly wanted to live, and invited you to let's find out together, what it takes to pursue a life of freedom. And even though the premise, of it is still the same, all the things that I talk about in the video are still the same. After doing 100 videos and just becoming a bit more clear on the direction that I want to go, I just realized that, my reasonings now, even though they still are, focused on the same things, it's just a little bit deeper. They have a little bit of deeper meaning for me. And so I wanted to talk about that, because ultimately I made this channel, for the burnt out, high performing, overachieving, millennial who we followed the blueprint, of success, and we are successful. We've made it. We've done all the things. We've achieved all the milestones, and yet we're still feeling a disconnect, and you're still left wondering, is this all there is to life? You just feel like you're meant for more, right? You're the reason why. You're who this channel is for. So I just wanted to jump in that. I just wanted to jump into that a little bit more and just kind of break it down on, my thought process behind starting the channel, and who the channel is for, and ultimately what I'm trying to accomplish with the channel. So as I mentioned, I in my first video, just kind of taking it back. It was a very short video. It was just the introduction, just to kind of get my initial thoughts about, I jotted some stuff down on a piece of paper, and I just kind of wanted to get my initial thoughts about what I wanted the channel to be, what I wanted to talk about in the channel, and who I made the channel for. And all of the things that I said in the video are still the same, which was ultimately, instead of continuing to follow the blueprint of success and coming up short, and I'm paraphrasing and kind of putting it in my, in my own words again, just a little bit differently. I'm doing things different. I want to see what it takes, right? And that was really the premise that I set, that video on, is just finding out what it takes in order to build a life on your own terms. And in doing that, the best way to do that for me is to just document my journey, in doing so, to be able to show you that there's proof that you can do things a different way and still come out at the end of it successful. And making sure that I cover all of the different aspects of lifestyle design, when it comes to maintaining a better, or making a better quality of life for yourself, which I talked about. Recovering from burnout, I wanted to talk about that. Career pivoting, definitely, personal finance, the money stuff, right? And even traveling and living abroad. Like, those were like the main things that I know that I wanted to, focus on, because those are all areas in my life which I'm currently, working on making better for myself. And so that didn't change. I also, stated that I wanted to just provide insight, for anybody, just, on what it's like to kind of start doing things a little bit different, and not following that traditional path to success. And ultimately, I definitely pointed out that just reaching someone, just to let you know that you're not alone in how you may be feeling, especially when you're dealing with burnout, and feeling like you need a change in your life. I made sure to, point out that, even if it's just to show you that you're not alone, in feeling what you feel, that is who I'm, trying to connect with through my channel, right? And so ultimately what ended up happening is I ended up changing the channel's name, from Proof and Prosper, because initially I just thought I just had to have, something catchy, for, just to stay in people's minds, for my channel, but also with meaning, right? Because that's, the premise of why I started the channel, was I just wanted to show you proof that you can do things differently and still be prosperous, still be successful, on the other end, right? But I just ended up changing the name of my channel just to my name, because I didn't want to limit myself on the direction in which I, take my channel, whether, it's going to focus on, the things that I mentioned already primarily, but just in case one day in the future I might decide to take it in a different direction, I just didn't want it to limit it, by having a name that's specific to a particular topic, or area, or niche is what they say, right? So I rebranded it, just changed the name to me, because that's this channel ultimately, is for me. It's for me first, because at the end of the day, this is, something that I decided to do, to endeavor in, for me, to document my journey, to to kind of be able to look back on my life, create a legacy through, which I'll get to in a minute. But in doing this for myself, I'm also, doing it for you, just to show you, the life of somebody who's ready to do things differently. All right. And as far as leaving a legacy, like I mentioned, I mean, the fact of the matter is that I don't have any kids, right? Except for my fur baby. I have a dog, which he's sleeping right now, and you might hear him snoring in the background. But outside of that, I don't have kids. I'm single right at the moment, and I just think about what legacy can I leave behind. Feeling like you're starting, resetting so much later in life, and at this, in this season that I'm in, I was like, no, I need to document what it is I'm going through in this season of my life, because this is the first time in my life where I decided to reject everything that we've been fed, everything that we've been told as millennials, that if we do this, you'll be successful, everything will be good, life will be happy, and that's it. I'm finally deciding to step away, reject that corporate, the corporate blueprint of success, and betting on myself. And I was like, no, this definitely deserves to be, documented, and not move in silence, right? Because it's a way that I can help others. I mean, it was one thing that I always think about, like, what's a way that I can help many people, the best, talking about my experiences and the things that I know the best, right? And so a YouTube channel was just like, it made sense, you know what I mean? Because I'm only one person, but, I do believe that the things that I have to say are valuable, are valuable to someone, even if it is just that one person. But that's really what this is about, creating a community, right? Leaving a legacy behind for me to be able to look back on this time, because hopefully these videos will, be out here on the internet forever. And, when I get older, I can be able to look back on this time and go, yeah, you did that. That was all you, and that was where you were, and you created some great memories through going through your journey, right? And living life on your own terms. That part. And in addition to leaving a legacy, really creating a community, I really wanted to highlight that, because I think it's important, especially because I mentioned about, connecting with that person who might feel like they're alone in what they, feel, or they might just think their situation is, specific to them, and they might not see, or have an example to show them that you can do things different, you know what I mean? Or if you just want to feel like you're not alone, just for that validation, to know that you're not crazy, because you're not losing your mind, right? You're not crazy. I think a lot of us millennials are feeling it, whether we want to admit it or not. I think we're tough, millennials, we're tough. We've seen both sides of it, especially the older, elder millennials, like the 40 to 45-year-olds, right? We've gotten to really see both sides of it, pre-digital age and into the digital age. And so it makes us, I think, a lot more, not flexible, but like we can get pulled in either direction, because I think ultimately, as millennials, we bear a lot of the weight in the middle, right? I think our generation is like the largest generation. Um, the millennial, I think, I might be wrong about that, but and we're just kind of stuck in the middle of it all. Especially us older ones, we might have the responsibility of taking care of our parents, especially our aging parents, or they might not have been able to set themselves up for retirement, um, in order to be fully sufficient on their own. And so you might have to step in for that responsibility, to help your parents out, whether it's through caregiving, help them out financially, whatever. So you have that weight of not only taking care of yourself and maybe your own immediate family, if you have kids, or you're married or whatever. Then you might have that the weight of taking care of your parents. And is that any different than anybody else? No, but I think specifically to millennials, because things are really tough for us. We, even when we're making a lot of money, inflation is ridiculous. Our cost of living is just ridiculous, and it's just tough. And then you might just be getting tugged in the other direction because you're exhausted, right? You're depleted, and you're just wondering, like, is it going to always have to be like this? Like, you're sacrificing a lot, to try to take care of yourself and, maybe your parents or your other family members. And you just, wondering if that's it, or when is it going to be okay for you to start focusing on yourself and the things that you value, and how you want to design your life to look, right? So I know I said a lot there, but in any event, for the millennial, I just was kind of getting out like just some of the stuff that we deal with, in this generation, and it's tough. So I'm not trying to say no other generations or people don't deal with the same things, but I think with millennials, I think it's different because we, like I said, we came up on both sides, pre digital and post, and so we have gotten a lot more input, I think, on how things are, how success, what is it supposed to look like, and stuff like that. So in any event, I mentioned it briefly, creating a community. And really, this is the type of community the community that I imagine will be built, coming from my channel, is for all of the people who are ready to just reject that, the golden cage, right? That blueprint of success, being stuck in a high paying job, with the golden handcuffs, because you're crazy if you leave it, because you're making so much money despite the fact that you're miserable. But you can't leave it because it's very scary on the other side, and you don't know what you're doing. So just stick to what you're good at, stick to what you know, and just keep pushing through. Eventually, when you're 65, you can retire and you don't have to worry about it anymore. A community of people who reject that notion, and who want to start defining success on their own terms, right? I think ultimately anybody can benefit from the message, some of the stuff that I'm going to be talking about on this channel. But I just feel like us millennials, we got, man, it's just rough. It's just rough, it's just rough. So in any event, I think that's important. And I just wanted to talk about that. So again, at the end of the day, who's this channel for? The millennial who followed the blueprint to success, and you hit all the milestones, and you're still unfulfilled and left asking yourself, is this all the life, right? You're ready for a change. And I just want to leave off by saying, I think it's ultimately like important for us to normalize wanting a life of freedom. And I think it's important for me to document my journey just as an example of what it's like navigating, walking away from traditional success, the corporate, jumping off that hamster wheel, getting out of the rat race, right? And just starting to do things on your term, and just not just showing the finished product of, now that you've already done all of the stuff to get to the level of success that you want, and now I'm going to take you back and tell you, what I did to get here. I think it's important for me to show like the messy middle of it all, right? So you can see, I think it makes the experience a little bit more humanizing, if that's a word. Yeah, it makes it more human. And so you can see that it doesn't have to be perfect all the time. It's okay to stumble as you go, figure it out, take a step back, do whatever you need to do, right? So it's important. And so yeah, that's it. So that is, the reason why I started this channel. Thank you so much for rocking with me. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much. And shout out to I think I have 29 subscribers now. Listen, my channel is brand new. You've been watching me figure this stuff out as I go along. I've been posting daily videos every day, trying to output, for the most part, something that, some information that I believe is, valuable for someone to hear. 29 subscribers I don't take that lightly, because I think of it as being in this room that I'm in right now, which is a very small room, a very small room, my bedroom, and having 29 people all in here listen to me talk. And that is a lot, especially coming from an introvert like myself. I don't have an issue public speaking or anything like that, but just the thought of just being in a small room with 29 people is a lot. So I don't, take that lightly at all. Thank you so much for trusting and, believing in my journey, and just, even if it's just out of curiosity, wanting to see where this goes. I'm glad you're here. Thank you. And if you are new here, welcome. You did not land on this channel by accident. This is where you need to be. So listen, everybody, just make sure you subscribe, to the channel if you're interested in, knowing what it's like to reset your life, rebuild it, from scratch, and rebuild a life on your own terms. I'm here to show you my process, so that we can hopefully help each other in figuring it out, so that you can, begin doing the same for yourself. Thank you so much. Let me know in the comments what's one area of your life that you're definitely looking to change. Is it time freedom, location freedom, or financial freedom? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to talk to you about it. Thank you so much again for watching my video. 100 videos. Yes. Thank you so much again. And until the next time, I will see you in the next video. Take care.